Okay. All right.
Perfect.
Hi, everybody. Amanda here with Beautiful Knockout and You're Brave Enough, our 13-week coaching group. So I just wanted to, we're going to change the format a little bit and get connected in person. And so this is week 7, and we're talking about empathy. So what we'll do in this 30 minutes that we have on Wednesdays is come together, questions, struggles, celebrations, things that are going well, and just a place to connect together. So welcome.
Happy to be here.
Awesome.
Yeah, me too.
Yay. So tell me, I'm trying to figure, I'm still working with this a little bit, so the first one will kind of be a little weird. I don't have anybody muted, so if I need to, I'll mute you guys, but if not, I'm just going to leave it. What'll happen is it'll kind of show us who's speaking, I think, in the main thing. So, and I think you can change your screen choice up there. Okay. So why don't you ladies start with, or actually I'll start. So I wrote this book based upon my own experiences and struggles, and the 8 practices that I found. Oops, hold on. I need this card. 8 practices that I found that really helped me own my power, walk through my darkness, and just really find confidence in and comfortability with myself. So that's why I wrote You're Brave Enough, because I figured if I had to struggle with some of this, that I'm sure other women did, and I wanted to help support them through their process and journey. So what have you gotten out so far? Where are you at? Are you working on the empathy practice 3, or are you working on some other ones? We'll just touch base there. Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Pamela. You can start, honey.
Well, I am working on empathy. I was working on forgiveness, and then I moved into empathy. I can't remember if they're in the same practice or not, but I was just reviewing some of my journal entries around this. And for me, the reality is I have good days and I have bad days. I have good days where I really believe, I've done this. I'm over this hump. I'm moving on to something else. And then something will happen, or I'll wake up on the wrong side of the bed, and I don't know, and then I'll be right back to where I was. And at first I was really discouraged by that. And then I decided, I think that's part of the process.
Yeah.
I think there's not like this finish line that I'm going to go over and then I'm never going to go back. And what I've starting to really get, intellectually I've known this, but I'm starting to get it here, is that this is a process of, the process is picking yourself up and going on, and developing the resilience to do that, and the self-love to know that as a human being, we are flawed. We're never going to be perfect. And I think I really didn't realize how much I had that struggle with, I was supposed to be perfect or really, really good, and I think that goes way, way, way back to my early childhood, from when I was really young and exposed to a lot of evangelical Christian craziness. Mm-hmm. And I thought I was over all that, but I think it's, my brain pathways were more wired than I thought.
Yes. You're hitting on something that I think a lot of us struggle with. I know Brianna can probably speak to this as well, but sometimes you're like, shit, I already dealt with this. Why is it coming back up? And I think, I don't exactly remember where I wrote it, but I know that it's like we're almost, I don't say an onion, but with each layer we peel away and we get comfortable with ourselves and handling, it's like another layer, another deeper thing to go through. So then we're like, oh shit, now I'm back here. So I love that you're in this space of understanding that this is a process and it's not, there's no finish line, because I think there's that expectation that we're going to be done with this process when really we're not. It's an ebb and flow. And like you said, some days are going to be good days and some days are going to be bad days. The difference I find for myself, and you'll probably start if you're not already feeling this, is that you move through things a little quicker, or you get stuck, but you have a new awareness of what that stuckness is about, where you didn't before.
Yes.
Brianna, what about you? Can you relate to any of that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think my journey, I think I came into this and I was dealing with something so big that I the first couple of weeks I was involved, and I was dealing with my own shit too. And I've worked on the forgiveness and the empathy. And at that point, when I got to the forgiveness part and holding empathy for, I'm not going to say my accuser, but somebody that was causing me grief in my life, it kind of shut down. Mm-hmm. And I had to process that. And in the meantime of me processing that, I got behind. Mm-hmm. And that will happen. And sometimes that's a defense mechanism. Mm-hmm. Your inner child is saying, well, this is too much. We've got to shut it down. Mm-hmm. So there's a resistance. And I've acknowledged that my inner child has been trying to resist it, because the wounds go deeper than the surface stuff that happened.
Right.
So now that I'm honoring that space, I'm getting back into the practices, and I'm in a better place. And also, this course has helped me to identify change, and that change is a good thing. And I used to resist change a lot. Mm-hmm. But without change, there's no growth. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And that was a big one. That was a big one for me, because I kind of like just to have my own little world, and I don't like anybody to rock it. Mm-hmm. This person really rocked it. So, and that's okay, because I know there's healing that needs to be taken place.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And that is some of the struggle, right? I know I touched on it in the video, and Pam, you touched on it in your video as well. Like, healing is hard. It doesn't feel good all the time. I mean, even if you think about a broken bone, or if you had surgery, like healing your body, it is a painful process at times, but it's a necessary process to go through so you can become stronger and more aware. And you become aware of things when you're in the process of healing that you might not have been aware of before, because you're so much more sensitive and open to different things. So definitely that honoring space is so critical when we're going through that. And I think that I was thinking about this on the way home, that expectations that we hold of ourselves, like sometimes they're up here, right? And when we don't meet what we expect for ourselves, we're really frustrated and pissed off because we didn't do what we expected. But sometimes when we're in healing, we need to give ourselves a break and let go of some of that. Expect less from ourselves instead of more. So I think that's important too for that. So
I agree.
Do you have anything to add, Pamela?
No, I totally agree with that.
So I pulled a card because I got some new decks over the holidays, and I actually love this one. It's called Sacred, I'm going to bring it up, Sacred Traveler. It's a Denise Linn, and I love actually the feel of these cards. They're so pretty, and I don't know if you can, it's like a mandala on top. And I asked that I get a card for each person who was going to come, but the first card for all of us to have this card. And this is the card that I picked, Transformation. And then when I opened the book just to review it, it was like I flipped exactly to Transformation. I'm like, wow, that's obviously this card is for us. But one of the things that's really important is that understanding that it's that process. And through this, we're not going to be the same as who we were. We can't be. It's impossible. So, and sometimes that's scary, right?
Right. Because it's not always clear what's on the other side or who you're really becoming. At least I just know I have to shed what I was and try to move toward that which I'm called to, or trust that the doors are going to open, or what is that saying, that I'll be taught to fly, I won't fall flat on my face. And I really do believe that, because there's been times in my life where that's just been true, and it's just funny how I lose sight of that.
Yeah, it happens to us all, that trust and that believing and going through the process and going, I don't know what's on the other side, but I know it's better than here. But that comfortability and staying within that comfort zone versus taking that leap of faith and really just trying it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest part, I think, is actually wanting to dive into that.
Yes. And that is the challenge. But you're all here and you're doing it and you're working the process. And sometimes we're like, oh, I think I know what I want to get out of this. And then I know how it's going to go, or we have this expectation, and then we get some curveballs. Like you talked about, Brianna, with some of the stuff that you really had to sit through and digest. And I imagine that you did not expect that stuff would come up and you'd be like, whoa.
No, absolutely not. And I always, it always blindsides you. Yeah.
For sure. So, anything else before I pull your ladies' cards that you're going through? I want to be mindful of your time, Pamela, too, because I know you have a date with your husband, which is super exciting. It's always good to have dates. So, anything for you that you're struggling with, want support around, want to celebrate? I know you did your video, but I wanted to at least open it up to see if there's anything.
I think reality is today, and the last couple of days have been good days, and I've been really working and doing stuff, so I'm feeling in a good place.
Good.
And I'll just reiterate that I think this weekly call check-in is going to really make a difference. Good. Because not only will we touch base with you, Amanda, but whoever can get on. It feels great to know that there's others out there doing this work.
Absolutely. I hesitated a little bit in doing it just because I didn't want to over bombard people, but I felt like in that there was also a lack of connection that's really important to me, that connection and community. So that is something that I was missing. And so I had talked with a friend and kind of explored, and I'm like, well, this is the beta group, so we can change anything we want. Yay. And here we are. And I'm going to we'll try this one. And then if we need to add another one in at some point, we'll do that as well. Because I know this could be a hard time for some people. So we'll just kind of play it by ear. But thank you. I'm glad that you are showing up and you are excited about this new process for doing this. What about you, Brianna?
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. And I feel like it connects us to the women that are in the group and their story, and it gets us emotionally involved in their triumphs and their successes, and I love that. I love the community.
Yay. How about anything you're struggling with or want to celebrate, or questions that you have burning?
You know what, I struggle and this is the thing, I've been struggling with the journal work, and that's sad for me to say, and it's because of what I was experiencing the last 4 months. I shut off all my journaling. And I have to get back to a place where I'm not, and it's that inner child. It's like, I don't want to write down on this paper how sad my life is at this moment. So it's okay. I have to just change that perception. And what I've been doing with just a little bit of journaling is I've been writing down my script that my inner child has been telling me. And then I write a new story.
Nice.
I write a new
great.
story, about how that's not true and my new truth.
Mm-hmm.
So in this process of really diving deep, I had to identify what it was that I didn't like about change.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to identify the old hurts that were stemming from my childhood, and I had to write new stories. And that's a process.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something I'm working on with my subconscious. They say it takes 80 times to speak an affirmation for your subconscious to catch on. So that's the process that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only thing I'm really struggling with is the journal work.
And that's okay. You're honoring that you're in that space and that it doesn't feel safe right now to you to be writing all those things down, and that you've identified that that is that inner child not feeling safe enough. So even trying to reiterate and give your inner child love and understanding and compassion and space is super important. And then letting them know what is safe enough, and then maybe saying what would be safe enough. What could we? And I love that you're writing down those stories and working on like transforming them, because that is going to be a critical piece for you.
Absolutely.
So, and I'm sorry, I've been having allergy issues. So when I go like this, I'm like ready to sneeze, and I'm trying not to sneeze in front of all of you ladies.
That's okay. I've actually dialed in, so I can't see anybody.
I know.
You look great, Amanda. I have to say, with that blue sky behind you, it's like, wow, you look like a movie star.
Oh, thanks. I know this. I was like shocked. I had to come outside because my husband came home early, and our house is a very open concept home. So where my office is, it's like the living room's right there, and he had a rough day. So he's like, I just want to relax. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll find another spot. So it forced me to come outside, which is probably what I needed. So, yeah, so it's beautiful. This is part of where we live, and the desert and the landscape behind us. So, kind of the views we get here in Arizona. So
gorgeous.
Yeah. And you're in Washington, right?
My landscape is exactly the opposite of yours.
It's green and
rain,
gray,
fog and mist and maritime and water.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually in a bit of a rain shadow from the Olympic Mountains.
Okay.
But the last 3 days we've had a lot of rain, like the kind of rain that you go outside and you have to have your Gore-Tex jacket on, or you'll just get soaked.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have that often. Usually it's just misty, like London.
Yeah. I have family that lives in Washington, and more in like Linwood, Seattle, Auburn area. So
they get more rain than we do. Yeah.
I love it up there. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I love it down there because it gives me the opposite of here.
Absolutely. Well, Brianna, you'll be able to catch the views on the replay, because I'll figure out how to upload it to the group so everybody can participate.
Perfect.
Okay, so Pamela, are you ready to see your card? I don't even know. Taking shelter. The answers are within.
Oh, God.
Okay, so tell me about when you see this and you say, oh my God, what does that mean to you?
Well, I mean, I'm a classic seeker of answers outside of me. I mean, even somewhat, coming into programs like this, it's like, okay, I'm going to take this program and I'm going to get the answer because it's out there somewhere. And I know that that's, not true. So it reaffirms and restamps that kind of, and it's inside you, and you do the work, you excavate. And the piece that's interesting about that is take shelter. So I'm going to have to journal on that a little bit. What does that mean? And maybe it means taking shelter inside myself. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's totally what it means. Yes, absolutely. And being okay with that it's a safe place.
Yeah.
For you to discover.
Right.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, I wrote something earlier today about how I still struggle with sometimes feeling like I'm a bad person. Like, like my flaws are so big that they're the bad kind of flaws that make you put you in the box over here. And so I have to, that's a process for me to stay out of that.
Absolutely. And it's something that is going to be really, it's going to be a process to explore your way through that. And it's going to be really uncomfortable because you're going to have to look at those stories that you've been feeding that belief.
Yeah.
And it's probably not intentional stories, but it's stories nonetheless that you're just buying into that are total bullshit, you know?
Well, and I liked what you said, Brianna, about it being 80 times before we shift. And I thought, oh my God, I need to practice that more, because I'm not anywhere near that before I fall back into the old.
And one of the things go ahead, Brianna.
No, I was just saying, and that's why sometimes with a belief, we'll be on our little kicks of like, okay, I am powerful, and we'll affirm it just a few times, and then we'll forget to do it.
Right.
And we go right back to that. So, and, we don't really, our conscious mind, we're not aware of what our subconscious really believes. So this is a perfect opportunity for you. And I love that you recognized after that reading that you had those fears and those beliefs. So absolutely dive deeper in those.
Yeah.
And sometimes with affirmations, they're a struggle because we don't believe them. We just flat out go, yeah, I tell myself I love myself, but it's bullshit because I really don't. So sometimes for me, what's been really helpful is saying I'm in the process of.
Yeah.
And so I'm not having to own that belief, and I'm not having my subconscious going, that's a fucking lie. That's a fucking lie. I'm having it go, I'm in the process of shifting this. I'm in the process of understanding. I'm in the process of loving. So it's like an active thing that I'm showing up to do. But I think Brianna's right in the fact that a lot of times we do it just a little bit and then go, okay, I'm good. And then we move on. And yet we did it enough to feel comfortable in that moment, but not enough to make change that we're looking to make. So then that's why sometimes we're falling backwards. Or it appears when really we're never are, but it appears that way.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. Oops.
Raven.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Brianna. Raven. Sorry. Raven. Shh. Raven. I have my dog out here with me. So she probably sees a rabbit or something. All right, Brianna, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Journey by the moonlight. Believe in magic.
Ooh, that has totally been my week. Yes. Okay. So what I'm picking up, we have a super blue blood moon coming up, and that is next week. And I have been believing in the magic, and magical things have been happening, and that is a perfect card.
So this is confirmation that you continue to do your moon work. I know you're really into that as well and doing a lot of shedding and releasing by the moonlight. So keep it up. And I will make sure I send you both like a little bit more about it. But I wanted to really just give you this and let you kind of take away what you take away from just seeing it.
Great.
Perfect.
Okay. Anything else, ladies, that you want to kind of cover or just touch base about, ask questions?
I just want to touch real quickly. That was just validation for me that the work that I have been doing and rescripting, I had a little setback where my fears were popping up this last weekend. But it didn't feel so scary. Like I intuitively knew I was still guided and protected.
Yay.
So if I could hold that space in my heart, that's when the magic has been happening this week. So that was just validation for me that the work I've been doing and rescripting is working.
Yay, that's
So
exciting.
thank you.
Good. You're
Thank you
welcome.
for that.
You're welcome. How about you, Pam? Anything else? And do you go by Pam or Pamela? I feel like I'm going back and forth.
I tell people my name is Pamela because they hear it better, especially over the phones. And then once you know my name's Pamela, most people call me Pam.
Okay.
Except unless my mother's really mad at me, then she'll call me Pamela Jean.
Oh, my middle name too is Jean. That's funny.
Yeah. So it's usually Pam.
Okay.
So anyway, is there anything I need? Right now I'm just on a roll. So I'm kind of, I'm just going to ride with that. I don't think there's anything I need. I'm just working through the book and, looking at stuff on Facebook and kind of rolling along. So I'm doing good.
Okay, great.
Pamela, I just love your journey, and I think that I just want to validate you that it's so wonderful to witness. Thank you for showing up, and thank you for participating so much. Yeah. And I'm proud of you. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And I'm glad we're doing these calls because I think it will help me feel more connected to people. Like, wow, what else is
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's hard.
Yes.
It's hard. This work is so personal and so hard that sometimes, and I can relax back into that bad story of, I'm being selfish. I'm only paying attention to myself. I should be making sure I'm tracking everybody else. And it's like, no, you know what? That's what you're doing, is paying attention to yourself.
And yes, and that's what you should be doing. And we can pay attention and focus. It's not selfish to pay attention to ourselves. I think sometimes there's been this belief, especially at women, if you focus on yourself first, you're being selfish and you're ungrateful and you should be worrying about everybody else. But if we don't fill ourselves and take care and focus on us, we won't have the energy to support and help and walk with anyone else, because we'll be burned out, we'll be inattentive and all of those things. So please don't feel bad.
That's a story. I'm practicing a new mantra on the 80 things of it's not so.
Yeah, there's this whole thing about you can't drink from an empty cup, so you have to really fill your cup first before you can support and love anyone else. So, Raven.
Cool. All right. Thank you, Brianna. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, both of the ladies are doing absolutely wonderful. So, thank you both.
Well, we have a good teacher. Thank you. Thank you, Amanda, for creating this group.
You're welcome. I'm glad I can do that and hold this space for you, because I know how sacred and hard, and like you said, Pam, the journey can feel so alone. And so I'm really glad. I'm sorry it took me this long to figure this out, but this is part of my journey too, is understanding what works and how do we stay connected with each other and really support each other through the process. So, and seeing your faces or hearing your voices, if you can't get on, is what is really important. And I think adds that extra element of connection. So let me finish up by asking you ladies one question. What do you want to get, or how do you want to feel over the next week with the work that you're doing?
Go ahead, Pam. I'll let you go.
I'm just thinking. I'm really, really thinking. Can you ask it again, Amanda?
Yeah. What do you want to get over the next week? Like, what do you want to feel through this week? Like, how do you want to feel over the week?
I want to feel that I'm really doing what I need. That I'm really tuned in to what is going on inside of me, and that my actions are supporting that.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh,
confirmation.
Right.
Good.
Yes, this card, confirmation.
Yeah,
good.
Absolutely.
Perfect. What about you, Brianna?
I ask the question one more time.
Like, what do you want to feel?
What do I want out this week? Okay,
yes,
this
for the
week.
Next week until fall?
My goal this week is to get caught up on my journal work and show up for that work, and allowing myself the space and understanding that it's okay that I got a little behind, and I'm going to pick it up and show up to heal. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on this week.
So what do you want to feel through it? How do you want to feel?
I want to feel connected because I want to know that I showed up to do the work.
Okay, perfect. Yay.
Yep.
And so yours is The Journey by Moonlight, Believe in Magic. So keep that present. And I'll send you pictures of these.
Perfect.
So, all right, ladies, thank you so much. We will do this again next Wednesday, and I will try ahead of time to create a post that if you have any questions or things you specifically want me to talk about or address, you can do them ahead of time or just bring them to our call. Okay?
Great.
Perfect.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Enjoy your date, Pam, and have a good night. Both ladies.
Thank you.
Okay, bye, ladies.
Bye-bye.
Bye.